Guys, how's it going? Today I'm going to be removing the rear shock absorbers off a Xc90. This is just a how-to on how to remove it. This Xc90 is being scrapped, so the good parts are being taken off of it, ready for sale to other people. So it's not new ones going on, it's just the old ones coming off. So that's what we're going to be showing you today. I run into a little bit of a hiccup doing this, which I'm going to leave in the video just so you can see how to react when you come into a hiccup. It's not even a hiccup, it just doesn't go to plan. And I know a lot of young apprentices and whatever, when things don't go to plan, they tend to get a little bit stressed and worried about it. So I'm just going to let that flow through so you can see how to just adapt and do whatever you need to do with it. So when I'm working on suspension, I like to work almost in a three-phase. Well, it adapts depending on the vehicle, but what I like to do is separate the preparation part of the repair to the actual repair. So today I'm going to break it down into three parts. I'm going to do the preparation towards the part, the repair. So that would be to make sure I got the parts and tools I need. It means I'm not fitting the parts, so it's mostly tools. And then it would be to prepare what I'm working on. So with a lot of suspension parts, they get covered in dust and dirt and mud and who knows what from the road. So we're going to clean those nuts and bolts up first, and then we're going to remove them. And I'm just going to go through that process with you. It's something that I like to mentally prepare myself for, because that way I know that I'm doing the best I can to prevent further headaches. So especially if you don't prepare those nuts and bolts, sometimes the dirt can get caught in the thread. I'm looking for a bolt to show you, but I haven't got one. Sometimes the dirt can get caught in the thread and it can stop it from backing off, and then worst case scenario, you end up having to cut it off and whatnot. So a little bit of time in the beginning just to clean all that rubbish out saves you a lot of headaches in the middle of the job. So you're going to need for that you're going to need a wire brush. I use it on a drill, but if you haven't got that and you just got a standard wire brush, that's fine. Do what you can. If you haven't got one, then take a chance or order one off Amazon, they're cheap enough. Actually, I'll leave you a link for one from Amazon in the description below. And then a bit of penetrating fluid, something like WD-40, you can just pick up anywhere. Penetrating is penetrating fluid to me. So I've got some duck oil, but it's literally no different than WD-40 other than it's in a different tin. Personal opinion. Don't hold me to that. So yeah, we're going to go and clean that up. Once that's cleaned up, I'll pull you back and we'll talk to the next stage. So good luck. Let's go down to the vehicle and see what we can do. Okay, so we're down here at the vehicle now, and we're going to be working on this bolt here. I couldn't get a better photo, angle, but there it is there, and it is covered in road grime. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give it a little bit of a spray. It's a penetrating fluid, just to try and loosen all that bits up, you know. I'm going to clean it off with this wire brush. Again, I'm not trying to make this to be a masterpiece or anything like that. I'm just trying to create it so it's easier to work on. Just get as much dirt off it as you can, not trying to make it look brand new. Once you've finished cleaning it, it's time to move on to the next. Okay, so now we're going to take off the 17mm bolt on the bottom of the shock. Let's just secure the bottom in. It's literally just pull on it until it's loose. So you can see that I got the jack there. It's slightly out of the way just for the sake of recording, so you can see these easier strokes, but really what you want to do is get as close to the bottom of the shock as you can. Because all it's doing there really is just taking strain off the shock, so there's no pressure on this bolt. So obviously the closer you get to the bolt, the easier it will be to remove this bolt. So this is actually loosened in now, but it's snagged on the inside. So a little trick is we're going to do is get an open end spanner and put it on the back of the bolt. and then just twist with a little bit of pressure and it should come flying out. There we go. Now with that out, we're going to move on to stage 3. We're inside the car now. We have to remove this flat back and we're going to hopefully impact it out. But in there is a little cover. There's 2 little covers, one for the shock and one for the grommet on the floor. So we're going to get my impact in there. There's an 18mm socket on the end of this. I'm going to zip it all the way out, hopefully. Right, okay, so as you can see now in this part of the video, I've gone to, with my impact gun, to remove the nut that's holding the shock in place in the top. But unfortunately the shaft on the shock absorber is spinning, and so that nut's not coming off. So in the next stage of the video, what you see me do is put a T50, I want to say T50 Torx bit in the top of the shaft, and then use a 18mm offset spanner to get to the top of the nut. Just show you. So just get that in focus. There. So the Torx bit goes in there, and then you'll have the nut. Should left on the car, but looks it. That goes on the top there. So you put your Torx bit in, you use your nut, and then you just spin it off. So it was. I haven't recorded it because I forgot the press record, but I used a lot of penetrating fluid on this, and I worked it back and forth. So it would get tight, and then I'd zip it back down, bring it back up, take it back down, take it back up, take it back down, take it back up, until it comes free. I eventually actually used, it's a really old trick of candle wax into the threads, so it runs down the threads and lubricates them, and then you just swing them right off, as you see in the video now. But this is the hiccup, so it didn't come to plan. All I wanted to do was just buzz it off, but it hasn't come off that way. But when I did remove it, something that I realised was this shock absorber here. Let's see if I can get that in. Can you see there? It's got a little groove there. Let's just twist that. There. So he's got 2 little shoulders. Now, when I took this off and I went over and did the other, I'd seen this, and when I did the other side, what I did is I stuck my jack underneath and jacked the shock all the way up. Sorry, just pop that down. Jacked the shock all the way up, and that just come off nice and easy then. I didn't need to use any Torx bits or anything like that. It just come straight off. It might be different for you because I'm using an impact gun, so it doesn't actually put that sort of torque motion on the shaft itself. Sorry. So it doesn't put that torque motion on the shaft itself. So it won't spin it anyway, but if you're using a ratchet, it might. So you might end up having to use the Torx bit method anyway. So it's kind of one of the reasons why I left it in here for you to see. But hopefully if you just jack it up as far as you can, you should be okay. Alright, let's go back down and show you. So I'm back in the car now. I've got my there's a Torx 50 on the end of this here. That's gone into the top of the shock, and I got an 18mm offset spanner, and I'm just going to work this back and forth until it becomes free. Hopefully I can free it up enough just to get the impact and to finish it off. So like you might need to work it so far, then take it back down, then work it so far, then take it back down, just until you get, obviously if you can see, on all the carpets around, there's crumbs and rubbish that falls down in here, and obviously the rust up from the road as well. So you just want to take it back and forth just not to damage anything. Just be a little bit patient. I know it's easier said than done now. Right, we're back underneath now just to remove the shock from the housing. So I'm going to pry that off slightly. See it's coming down now. Keep gently prying it, you don't want to damage any of the rubbers or anything. There we are, it's popped out. I haven't got it jacked up high enough for it to fall out the bottom, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to jack it up again a little bit here, just to make some more room. And once it does, just slide it out at an angle. It comes out nicely. Hey guys, so there you are, that's your shock absorber off. Like I said, you know, there's a different approach than what I was expecting with it having to use the Allen key, not the Torx bit and the spanner. But you know, as a mechanic, as a professional, we change, we adapt, and we do what we have to do to get the job done to the highest of standards. So it's done, and we're happy with that. That's awesome. Right, so if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you didn't enjoy this video, maybe leave me a comment and let me know how I can improve for future videos. And if you still need further help with your Xc90s, just get in touch, and I will give you any sort of advice that I can. Cheers guys, thank you very much.